Welcome to this special show. I'm Tamanna Datta. We've prepared the show this evening to talk about how the Taliban taking over large chunks of Pakistan is a threat closer than we think to India. But in the meantime, news coming in which proves the point India has been making all along, that the Taliban is a threat to all of humanity. In fact, just about half an hour ago, news that GeoTV reporter of a Pakistani news channel, Musa Khan, has been killed in the Swat region. Musa Khan was shot dead by unknown gunmen in Mata in the Swat region. Musa Khan was reporting, in fact, till this afternoon on a high-level meeting which was scheduled to take place between two factions of the Taliban, the moderate faction and the hardline faction. The Pakistan Prime Minister and other voices in the Pakistan government have already come out and condemned the attack, saying it is an attack on journalistic ethics. Now remember, this comes only about 3 days after a peace accord has been signed between the Taliban and the Pakistan government. The world has condemned it. They're calling it striking a deal with the devil. The Pakistan government, in lieu for a 10-day ceasefire, had allowed the Taliban to impose Sharia law in the region. But the news coming in, Musa Khan, a reporter with GeoTV, has been killed, shot dead in the Swat region. Let's go across to Rahul Shivshankar, our senior editor, for more. Rahul, this is a shocking attack on journalism and it comes at a very troubled time for Pakistan.
That's right. In fact, if you really look at what this journalist was covering, it's quite apparent that the significance of this story won't be lost on anyone. In fact, this journalist had gone with a cabal of leaders of the TNSM, which is a group that is in active talks with the Pakistan government in the Swat region for the implementation of the Sharia. And the leadership of the TNSM was going to hold talks with the hardline Taliban in an attempt to split the hardline Taliban as to isolate Baitullah Masood. And these talks were being held between the TNSM leadership and one of the key lieutenants of Baitullah Masood, a gentleman called Maulana Fazlullah. Maulana Fazlullah, incidentally, is also the son-in-law of one of the leaders of the TNSM, in fact, Sufi Muhammad, who was instrumental in getting the ceasefire agreement between himself, that is the TNSM, and the Pakistan government. So these were very, very significant talks, and they were aimed at driving a wedge into the Taliban. And obviously someone within perhaps the Taliban or someone who opposed these talks has made sure that they are derailed by executing or slaying this particular journalist who was there to cover these path-breaking talks, which would have resulted in significant gains for the Pakistan state, because it would have led to a split in the Taliban and perhaps then defeat eventually for Baitullah Masood, who's linked to the Al-Qaeda. And that is one of the reasons why this assignment was so high profile. In fact, this journalist was planning to camp in this area for the next 10 or 12 days, because these talks were thought to be very significant and they were expected to be prolonged talks that could have resulted in a big breakthrough.
But looking at the bigger picture, this treaty has been signed. The world is condemning it. The US has stopped short from openly condemning the Pakistan government's move to sign a treaty with the Taliban, but action is being taken on the ground. US President Barack Obama has deployed an additional 17,000 troops in Afghanistan.
I think that as a consequence of the war in Iraq, we took our eye off the ball. We have not been as focused as we need to be on all the various steps that are needed in order to deal with Afghanistan.
It's a mistake Barack Obama is determined to correct. A day after the Taliban officially took over large parts of Swat, an additional 17,000 US troops have been deployed to Afghanistan. These troops will join their counterparts primarily in the Logar region of Afghanistan, taking the number of US troops in the country to 30,000.
Activity by the extremist elements in Pakistan poses a direct threat to the government of Pakistan, as well as to the security of the United States, Afghanistan, and a number of other nations, not only in the immediate region.
The US Commander-in-Chief may be sending troops to Afghanistan, but the focus clearly remains on the restive border region. This village is still reeling from drone attacks that killed more than 30. The Kurram agency in the tribal-governed Fatah region has not seen drone attacks before. And intelligence sources say the target could be Taliban leaders. The Taliban takeover is seen as a dangerous development. And the United States is making sure it keeps a close watch. Bureau Report, Times Now.
Now, the threat to India is palpable and very real. Look at this. Peshawar is just about 150 kilometers from Sopore, 250 kilometers from Srinagar, and the distance between New Delhi and Peshawar is just about a 15-hour drive.
Pashtun tribesmen celebrating victory. A victory over Pakistan government and US forces in the region. The Taliban now control over 9 districts of the northwest frontier province, where they are free to impose their law and will. The next stop could only be Peshawar.
अगर पाकिस्तानी कायदीन और पाकिस्तानी फौज की यही किरदार होगी तो हम मजबूर है पेशावर पर भी कब्जा कर लेंगे, हमगो पर कब्जा कर लेंगे, पाकिस्तान के गुट पर हम कब्जा कर लेंगे, कोशिश कर लेंगे इंशाल्लाह.
Peshawar is just 800 kilometers away from India's capital. Less than the distance between Mumbai and Nagpur, and about a 15-hour drive. It is a threat India is very aware of.
Fact of the matter is that Taliban is a terrorist organization, and Taliban's believe in nothing but wanton destructions and violence. In my assessment, Taliban are danger to the humanity, to the civilization.